Hi, welcome back. I'm Eric Kane. We're going to talk about The Walking Dead's latest episode. It's episode 19 of season 11. So we'll just talk real quick about what worked and what didn't work in this episode. For the most part, I would say this is my favorite episode of the three in this chunk of season 11. We've got three 8-episode chunks. This is the final one. Now we have like 5 episodes left, so this is almost over. And then it's off to all the spin-off shows. So now we got a Rick and Michonne show, we got a Daryl show, we got a Negan and a Maggie show. They'll probably all take place in a 20 square mile radius in the south with the same. No, I'm just kidding. They're not going to. One's going to be in Manhattan, one's going to be in Europe, I think. So we're going to get some variety finally. Anyways, what doesn't work for me in this plotline, in this Commonwealth plotline, what doesn't work is Eugene and Max. I cannot stand either of these characters. They don't seem like a good fit. They have about as much chemistry as like a wet rag and a cardboard box. I mean, Eugene is not a romantic figure in the first place, so it's really hard for me to buy all his romantic stories in this season. First of all, with the Stephanie chick who wasn't even the real person he was falling in love with, and she fools him for like how many episodes? Then it turns out she's a fake and a spy for Hornsby, and then he goes on to meet the real Max, who was there the whole time but didn't say anything. She's the assistant to Pamela. She is about as interesting as a bag of wet noodles, and Eugene is just obnoxious. So their romance doesn't work. I don't think she'd fall for him. He needs like an equally sort of on the spectrum type character to really fit for his crazy to match her crazy. And Max is just a basic, boring character, and Eugene is just so off the reservation. I don't know. So this doesn't work for me. She gets caught because they're both being hunted for the death of Sebastian, who's zombified last episode, and zombified this episode, but killed last episode by a zombie. Eugene ultimately, after much blubbering about his cowardice, turns himself in to help Max out, which good for you, Eugene. I hope you get a good death on this show, because we do need to winnow the cast down. There are too many characters in The Walking Dead right now. There have been for a very long time. Even after Alpha chopped off the heads of 9 characters, we still had too many characters on this show. And there's only a few that I really like still, and that's like Rosita, Daryl, Jerry, Aaron, Negan. I like Gabriel. I do. I think he's become a much more interesting character. I never thought I'd say that back in the day. Or Negan, but here we are. But Carol, man, her story was over ages ago. Ezekiel hasn't done anything in a long time. The whole Magna group, Yumiko, Magna, all them, Connie, what is the point of having so many characters? You have to spread out your story much too thin. At this point in time, 11 episodes in, nearing the finish line, we should be focused on a tight, compact storyline with just the core characters we care about, and we should be losing them too. We certainly shouldn't know about all these spin-off shows because it takes all the tension out of it, because we know that Daryl and Negan and Maggie, I can't stand Maggie, they all have all this plot armor. So much plot armor. And it just, that robs us of some enjoyment of a tense and a show where we're worried about our characters dying, our favorite characters dying. What I did like about this episode, on the other hand, was, first I liked Princess. I think she's a great new character. She's given more depth and backstory than many of our heroes. Her speech to Mercer about her own traumatizing childhood with her abusive stepdad and stepbrother who locked her in a closet and would starve her, and they were just awful to her. That was a moving, terrible story. And the actor who plays Princess, whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head, does a really good job. She's very likable. She's funny, but she has all this sadness, and she does a great job pulling that off. I really wish more characters were given this amount of depth and actually interesting and well-written stories and whatnot to run with. We have too many characters. That's part of the problem. And she tells all this to Mercer to explain how she feels that the Commonwealth is like this abusive relationship, and how standing by doing nothing is like her mother standing by doing nothing when she was abused. So I liked that part. I thought it gave some emotional resonance to the episode. I also really liked the storyline with Aaron and Jerry, I like Jerry. He's fun. Aaron, Jerry, Lydia, and what's his face? The guy that came with the mask. Oh, the guy that came with the mask with Maggie, the only surviving member of her community, basically. Those two have a little thing going, but Lydia, can't stop thinking about Henry. Henry was such an obnoxious character. The interesting part was they go to this place that Jerry thinks would make a good new kingdom, which I agree. It's a pretty cool area. It's like this town feels like it's right out of, like, plucked from, medieval Netherlands or something. But they're attacked by a horde of zombies, and at one point when they're up on this roof, you see these zombie hens come up like the ladder and come over the edge, and this zombie climbs a ladder, picks up a rock like he's going to hit Jerry with it. Aaron attacks the zombie, beats him down, and goes to rip off his mask because he thinks that he is a whisperer, understandably, but it rips off the zombie's face instead, and it's a zombie. It's not a whisperer, but it's doing human things, like climbing ladders and picking up rocks. So this is a direct callback, or maybe not a callback, but a direct return to the zombies of season 1, which, the first zombie we meet with Rick is a little girl holding her stuffed animal. And we see zombies like trying to open doors and stuff. So zombies that have more human characteristics, that are more sentient, some degree of intelligence, the ability to use tools and to maneuver human structures. Weird that we haven't seen any of that for 10 seasons, but we're back at it now. So I don't know where they're going with this, but they talked about, the fast zombies and these, zombie variety. We're finally getting some zombie variety right when this thing's about to end. So that'll probably spill over into some of the spinoffs, which would be great because this is the most exciting thing that's happened in this show in as long as I can remember. It was actually a really cool scene, and I was like, oh, holy crap, that's crazy. And I know I'm actually now I'm kind of interested in where they're going with this. I'm bored with the Commonwealth storyline. I mean, I like Hornsby, and we'll see what happens with him because Pamela puts the zombie Sebastian in his cell with him because she's pissed because it's kind of his fault that he died. I think he's got lots of tricks up his sleeve, and he's a pretty good villain. Pamela, I find kind of meh, blah, whatever. The whole Commonwealth itself is just it's been totally mishandled, I think, but if they can crack down and make it a more authoritarian and dread-inspiring community place, whatever, I think that could help with these last few episodes. So, yeah, I wouldn't say I'm optimistic about the way this show is going out, but I am a little more optimistic than I was last week. So let me know what you thought of this episode down in the comments. Thank you as always for watching and for subscribing and liking and sharing and doing all that shit. We're at over 10,000 subscribers now, which is so fucking cool. I'm so excited. Thank you all. Peace.